What is up, everybody? It is Sunday, October 12th. It is 8:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you know where your cryptids are?
Yeah, back there. You're kind of dragging this out a little bit tonight, Doc.
Yeah, dragging it just a wee bit there. Doing it for effect.
Or is the fact that you're still tired from the weekend?
I'm always tired from the weekends. We do a lot of walking. That's a lot of steps in the night.
Right.
Top of the hour. We got some good news for everybody.
Yes, very good news.
The documentary film that we shot back in 2022 is finally being released October 24th on Amazon, Apple TV, and YouTube. It is called The Spirit of Halloween Town, and we were the paranormal investigators invited in for free reign of the Klondike, the legendary Klondike. We had access to it for, God, how many hours was it? 4 hours, I think? 4 or 5 hours we had a place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Camera crew following us around. We can actually officially talk about some of that, which will probably, it might have to be another show. I think that might have to be a watch party. That might have to be our 100th episode, is a watch party with commentary.
That'd be good.
That would be awesome.
I think that will be our 100th episode.
You better mark that down and so you don't forget about it.
Oh, I won't forget about it. But yes, we were able to get
confirmation
Klondike for 5 hours, all the floors, the basement included, full access, undeniable access.
Yeah, not just that second floor.
Or the first floor. We had all levels. Of course, we did have a camera crew, so I probably tried to, grease the wheels a little bit to get access to the building. But yes, that movie will be coming out.
Yes.
October 24th. That is a Friday. And unfortunately, that is one of our walks that night. So it's going to be kind of hard for us to do anything besides the walk. But yes, I think we will have to do a watch party sometime with you, everybody else in our audience.
I think after our walk, we should sit down and watch it. And have a smoke at the same time. And some drinks. To celebrate.
On the 24th?
After the walks. Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
I'll never say no. Anyway, so that's our good news. The movie that we did, we can finally talk about. It's finally out, and I don't know how big our part is, but
yeah. Well, we know you got a small part in there. Saw the trailer.
Yeah, I got a little bit in the trailer, so yeah. But anyways, that's beyond everything else. This is October. It is season 4, episode 17. We are closing in on that magic 20 for season 4 and the wrap up. We are talking about the case that inspired the movie The Exorcist. Because it's October. I don't know how much joking around we're going to be doing, but Tammy, go ahead, feel free to take the reins and take us on a magical joyride that is Roland Doe.
Maybe that's the reason why I'm not drinking alcohol tonight. All right.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Go.
A case of exorcism becomes an inspiration for a novel and a movie. Tonight, we are talking about demonic possessions, exorcisms, and psychological events. I wonder if we'll find a lady in white tonight. In 1949, a young teenage boy was subjected to a series of Catholic exorcisms. Not quite as many as the 67 that poor Annalise went through last week. The pseudonym used by the church.
Wait.
For the
There
boy
wasn't that
Roland Doe.
67 of them?
I don't think so. There was 67 with Annalise. But there was quite a few with this boy.
Well, then it's kind of a good thing we started with Annalise and then worked our way down.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
We're going to try to make it humorous. It's chaotic.
Okay, so the church called him Roland Doe. This was used to protect his identity. He was known to exhibit violent behaviors, spoke in guttural voices, and had unexplained physical changes. This would lead to a prolonged ritualistic.
Sorry.
It would lead to a prolonged ritualistic process for Roland. The case would inspire a Georgetown University student to write a book. William Peter Blatty would go on to write The Exorcist novel in 1971. It would become a movie just 2 years later. The boy was either 13 or 14 years old, depending on what source you read. He started displaying behaviors that his family attributed to demonic possession. His manifestations would include convulsions, unnatural strength, nonsensical utterances, and unexplainable scratches on his body. So in 1935, Roland was born into a German Lutheran family. He grew up in Cottage City, Maryland. He had no siblings and only had his older Aunt Harriet. He once expressed interest in the Ouija board, so Aunt Harriet introduced him to it. Geez, Harriet, what a way to get that kid possessed.
You know, we were just talking about Ouija boards beforehand, and now Ouija boards find their way in.
It figures.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I've heard some freaky Ouija board stories, so I do not want to play with one myself. So after Aunt Harriet died, strange things started happening. There were unexplained noises and furniture that moved around on its own. When Roland was around, ordinary objects started flying or levitating. This made the family go to their Lutheran pastor, Reverend Luther Miles Schultz. He had a strong interest in parapsychology, so Schultz invited Roland to spend the night at his home so he could observe him. Joseph Banks Rhine, a parapsychologist, learned about Schultz and his claim about witnessing household objects that seemed to move by themselves. Did Schultz unconsciously exaggerate some of the facts, wondered Rhine? Schultz went on to advise the family to take Roland to see a Catholic priest. A number of exorcisms were performed on Roland. One Roman Catholic priest, Father Edward Hughes, conducted an exorcism on the boy. It was at the Jesuits' Georgetown University Hospital. The exorcism didn't quite go as he planned it. During the exorcism, Roland allegedly slipped one of his hands out of his restraints, broke a bed spring from under the mattress, and used it as an impromptu weapon and slashed the priest's arms, which caused the exorcism to be stopped.
Damn.
Okay, after the failed exorcisms, there were other things happening, like unexplained scratches on Roland's body. His mother, who was from St. Louis, saw the word Louis appear scratched on his ribcage. So the family decided they needed to move to St. Louis, where they would go on and live with some family. So when they got there, Roland had a cousin that went to St. Louis University. He talked to one of the professors who was a bishop. He spoke with his colleague, William Bowdern. Both of the men decided they needed to visit Roland in the cousin's home. So they allegedly saw a shaking bed, flying objects, a voice speaking in a guttural voice, and the boy having an aversion to anything sacred. The archbishop ended up giving him permission for Bowdern to perform another ritual. This one took place at the Alexian Brothers Hospital in South St. Louis. Another priest joined in to assist Halloran. In the psychiatric wing of the hospital, William Van Roo, another Jesuit priest, came to assist as well. The priest told that during the exorcism, Words such as evil and hell, along with other various marks, appeared on Roland's body. During the litany of the saints portion of the ritual, the mattress began to shake. Roland broke the nose of Halloran during the ritual, who was one of the priests. And in some of the exorcisms, the bed moved on its own. It slid violently across the room, and it knocked the priests down as they desperately tried to wrestle the demon from his body. One source would say that the pattern was that the boy would act naturally during the day. He was totally fine. But as soon as he put his pajamas on and went to bed, he would go into a trance and he would start screaming and acting wildly. Roland apparently wouldn't remember anything the next morning.
Well, he just didn't want to go to bed.
Maybe he just didn't want to go to bed. Okay. Roland and his family finally found solace from the demons on April 18th. And I don't remember what year. But the priests laid holy relics and crucifixes on Roland. They shouted at Satan, telling him that St. Michael would battle him for the boy's soul. Apparently, Roland screamed, "Satan, Satan, I am St. Michael. I command you, Satan, and the other evil spirits to leave this body in the name of Dominus immediately. Now, now, now." Roland woke up 7 minutes later saying, "He's gone." And so Roland went on to tell about him having a vision of St. Michael vanishing Satan on a great battlefield. I also read somewhere that his vision was St. Michael slashing a dragon.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay, so Roland Doe has also been called Robbie Mannheim. That was in another book. His family moved back to the East Coast. Later, he would marry and start a family. His firstborn son was named Michael after the saint that saved him from the demons. The real name of Roland, or Robbie, was known to be Ronald Edwin Hunkler. He worked for NASA as an engineer on the Apollo missions in the 1960s. He also patented technology that helped the space shuttle panels withstand extreme heat. He was afraid that someone would find out that he was the inspiration for the Exorcist. So he would just do all kinds of things to make sure that he wasn't home on Halloween and all these other types of things. But he ended up working for NASA for 40 years, and I believe he retired in like 2001. And pretty much had a normal life after that. But there is a lot of skepticism regarding this case. Thomas Allen wrote a book in 1993 called Possessed, The True Story of an Exorcism. He tells that experts believe that Ronald, or in this book, he was Robbie Mannheim, was just a deeply disturbed boy with nothing supernatural about him. Another author wrote that the boy was simply a spoiled, disturbed bully who threw deliberate tantrums to get attention and get out of school. The author Mark Upsasnik went on to say that Halloran never heard the boy's voice change. Can't talk tonight. He thought the boy just mimicked the Latin priests and the words they used, and did not get a sudden ability to speak Latin. He also said that Halloran did not check the boy's fingernails to see if he scratched himself. So they're thinking that, yeah, he did it all himself.
Interesting.
But he said pretty much the whole story was made up. What do you guys think about that?
Boy needing attention.
We're way early for Skeptics Corner.
No.
I know. I got more. There's more skepticism, more story. Okay, so the psychiatrists believed that Roland suffered from mental illness, but to the priests, it was a case of demonic possession. The publishing and film industry saw it as a way to exploit everything for profit. Some of the additional things that Obsessed Nick wrote about were the interviews he did with people that supposedly knew Roland. Okay, he wrote a lot about that. One person said, that boy has been a very clever trickster. He pulled pranks to frighten his mother and to fool the children in the neighborhood. Another childhood friend would say, no, I don't think he was ever possessed. I think it was psychological. As far as any real possession or anything like that, I don't think so. There's some interesting psychological aspects to it. They were German Lutherans, and he was an only child. I think the grandmother is actually the center figure. She played a very influential role in his life. You had this old world religion superstition, and the mother got caught up in it, and the father, he just stayed in the background. I think he could see what was going on, which is why he is never mentioned. This true story is much more intriguing from a psychological point of view. The basis of the real thing could be a damn good story, no doubt about it in my mind. The rest of it, I can run a parallel. You see, these two mischief makers that had a strong tendency to take advantage of people who were weaker than themselves. They were a pair of connivers, and they had their act down. In pairs like that, they could compete with each other and don't get along very well, and they have to keep doing something to retain the relationship all the time. This is mischief in one form or another. They were trying to outdo each other. So I think that must have been him and his friend, or him and his mom, or something. And another friend would go on to say, there was this dog that ran around the neighborhood at that time. It was a half red Cocker Spaniel, and it looked like it was half chow. This dog was mean, and nobody ever knew who owned it. It just came out of nowhere. Well, Ron basically adopted that dog. The dog was really his best friend, not me. The dog hated everyone and everything and would bite anyone in sight. But he loved Ron. Ron would feed it and bring it into the house with him. One time he called me up and told me to come over, and I never really trusted him because he was a sneaky and real mean little bastard. I was going over there, and he was looking out the basement window. And when I got to his house, I heard the back porch door slam. I knew right away what he had done. He had done this sort of thing many times before to different kids. I started running like hell because he'd sick that dog on me. When I got home, he'd call up and was laughing like hell. That's what kind of person he was. He did that all the time. So that's the neighborhood interviews. And then a few episodes back, we heard skeptic Joe Nichols' thoughts on another case. I can't remember which case it was, but he's back with a lot more to say. So Nichols says there was no credible evidence to suggest that the boy was possessed by demons or evil spirits. He went on to call the symptoms of possession childishly simple to fake. He claims someone saw Roland make the scratches on his body himself. He said it suggested nothing more than role-playing or trickery, and he had lots of pretty negative things to say. Then there are some more interesting pieces to the puzzle. At some point, there was an X scratched on Roland's body. John Walsh, a Jesuit priest, believed that meant 10 demons were possessing the boy, which is 4 more than Annalise. She only had 6.
So he's got a bit of a leg up on her.
Exactly. And so apparently Roland, in one of his voices, told another Jesuit priest that he would die in 10 years and he was going to burn in hell. And well, apparently that priest liked to drink strong liquor, and it scared him so bad he immediately stopped drinking. But it didn't say if he died in 10 years or not. But,
There were possessed gods in the background. Crazy. They're possessed.
Yeah.
Not coming holy water.
They bark at nothing a lot.
Possessed.
And so, yeah. I knew my paper wasn't long enough.
Go
We're almost done with my part of it. An incident supposedly written about in a diary told that Bowden saw a tiny, nearly invisible pitchfork or lines moving from Roland's upper thigh down to his ankle. And then he talked about seeing words, streaks, and arrows appearing on his body. And he didn't think that the kid could do it himself because the boy was in so much pain. So, what are your thoughts? Was this kid a bully, a jerk of a kid, or do you think he was truly possessed?
Well, now that's the interesting question. I mean, like most everything we talk about, it's either become an Airbnb or a major Hollywood movie.
Right.
And he passed away in 2020. So, I mean, that would be the entire deal with it is who made the most money.
Yeah, apparently when he died...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh,
well, I mean, if he went to work for NASA, then he, right? He went to work for NASA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was an engineer.
So engineers get paid a lot of money, especially for NASA. So he probably was not raking in millions for his story. So, yeah, kind of give him a benefit of the doubt on that one. And maybe, okay, you're not making horrendous amounts of money. You're not really doing talk shows and circuits. You just want to stay out of it. I mean, we've discussed this on different shows about UFO abductees that
just kind of stay out of the limelight.
Stay out of the limelight, didn't want anything to do with it, did not really get a lot of money off of these things. So maybe Roland.
Yeah, he tried to totally hide it and not let anybody know that it was him. He was so scared that people were going to find out
and judge him. Yeah.
So, I mean,
but if he's got all these markings that were supposedly on his stomach and whatnot, I mean, did he really have them? Or I would think, going back to where the priest saying it's demonic or psychological or whatever, thinking either way, I mean, who's to say what's demonic possession versus a psychological breakdown? I mean, to me, they're one and the same, especially nowadays.
Well, I mean, not to jump ahead the Skeptic's Corner, but I do have the little article here. During his investigation, Opsasnik discovered the exorcism did not take place at 3210 Bunker Hill Road in Mount Rainier, Maryland. The boy never lived in Mount Rainier, Maryland. The boy's home was in Cottage City, Maryland. Much of the commonly accepted information about the story is based on hearsay, is not documented, it was never fact-checked. There is no evidence. Father E. Albert Hughes visited the boy's home, had him admitted to Georgetown Hospital, requested that the boy be restrained at the hospital, attempted an exorcism of the boy in the Georgetown Hospital, or was injured by the boy during an exorcism at any other time. There is ample evidence refuting claims that Father Hughes suffered an emotional breakdown and disappeared from the Cottage City community. According to Opsasnik, individuals connected to the incidents were influenced by their own specializations. To psychiatrist Roland Doe, suffered from mental illness. To priests, this was a case of demonic possession. To writers and film video producers, this was a great story to exploit for profit, which they did. Good movie, by the way. Definitely got to watch on Halloween. Those involved were trained to see what they were trained to see. Each purported to look at the facts, but just the opposite was true in actuality. They manipulated the facts and emphasized information that fit their own agenda.
So it's all bogus.
I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here. I mean, it inspired the 1971 novel The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, which was in turn adapted into a 1973 horror film of the same title.
Exactly.
The case also inspired the 2000 movie Possessed, which is said to be closer to the story in Allen's book. A documentary was made on the case titled In the Grip of Evil. Another documentary film was made in 2010 titled The Haunted Boy, Secret Diary of the Exorcist, where a group of investigators travels to the location in question and uncovers a diary that is said to be kept by William S. Bodum. Season 8, Episode 7 of Ghost Adventures investigated the 1949 house. Bowden's actual great-niece refused to ever set foot back in the house due to the demonic force still there. But we could say that, that show, everything tends to be demons. Everything's a demon.
Everything.
So I have a question.
Okay. Yep.
So the Obsasnik guy, now could so a lot of the information I found all talked about Cottage City, Maryland. It didn't say anything about Rainier or anything. Could that have been the changes put in the book that
that might have been the changes in the book, yeah. Well, not to spread any more probable cause on the situation, but William Peter Blatty. Let's talk about him for a second. He died on January 12, 2017. American writer, director, and producer. Kind of leading into some things here. He is best known for his 1971 novel, The Exorcist, and for his screenplay for the 1973 film adaptation. He won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay for The Exorcist and was nominated for Best Picture as its producer. The film also earned Blatty a Golden Globe Award for Best Motion Picture Drama as producer. He got his master's degree. He joined the United States Air Force and served in the Psychological Warfare Division, where he attained the rank of first lieutenant. But that's the thing I would say is, if he wrote the book and the screenplay and directed it, he also he directed The Exorcist 3, which he adapted from his 1983 movie novel Legion. His second film as director, Exorcist 3, was his final directorial credit and final screenplay credit. But he didn't want anything to do with The Exorcist 2. So that would make me wonder where he got all the information for the book. Because in the movie, it's a little girl.
Probably dressed in white.
But that's the thing is...
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
It's a running gag with the lady in white. We've been having so many cases with a woman in white somewhere along the line. Okay, but that's what I'm going to ask right now is, Blatty, how much of the book follows the real case? I've never read the book. I've seen the movie. Now, if he did the screenplay and the movie, did he possibly...
He might have taken a lot of liberties.
Because I'm trying to figure out what he's done for The Exorcist. I mean, he wrote this other book, Legion, which was a sequel to The Exorcist. But here we go again with the people that are authors that are writing things like Communion. And they write a whole bunch of different books and sequels that go off of the same topic that they already had. So, I mean, he's got a Exorcist 3 that follows in with the other one. Yeah, now the Exorcist movie, the book details the demonic possession of a 12-year-old Reagan McNeil, the daughter of a famous actress, and two priests who attempt to exorcise the demon. So, yeah, already it's not technically just off of Roland's case. I mean, you could take a little bit of that and run with this. So, if Roland was having some mental issues and he was harming himself, because, I mean, we could look back on the Annalise case, where she was harming herself with this stuff. And the fact that Roland wanted absolutely nothing to do with any of it. Changing his name, going on to live a quiet lifestyle. So I am almost on the fence on this one of saying, you know what, maybe the kid had something going on.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Mental breakdown, just like Annalise. You know, people are saying, oh, they're demonic, but in reality, they're having a mental breakdown. And back in the day, there wasn't a whole lot of, what's the word? I just, things to bring that out or, to help them. It's just called demonic instead of, hey, let's get these people some help.
Well, as I'm reading more about the Exorcist book, I mean, he's basing a lot of the characters off of other things. So, I mean, did he have a direct tie-in with this, or did he maybe just read about this kid having possible exorcisms and just run with the whole story into a whole new branch? Because, I mean, the book is about...
Ooh, exorcisms.
Yeah, I mean, let me gladly believe he could improve on the ending of Rosemary's Baby, making the spiritual struggle a more central theme of the story.
What does Rosemary's Baby have to do with anything?
Because apparently he, let me see, was considering writing a novel based on the Doe exorcism since he had written about it as a college student, even as he became successful as a comic novelist and screenwriter in the early 1960s, but his agent talked him out of doing so when he raised the subject. But after seeing the film version of Ira Levine's Rosemary Baby in 1968, Flatley told his wife that he wanted to write a story like that. He liked the way director Roman Polanski had kept the audience unsure whether the title character's concerns for her unborn child were genuine or not, but felt the ending was schlocky, reducing the devil to a joke. So he's writing a novel. I mean, we're talking about Roland Doe, and now we're going to go on that everything in the movie and in the book is based on the Doe exorcism. So easily, this could have also been the Annalise exorcism that he could have written the story about. So, bottom line, I mean, kid has some issues. If he's blacking out at night, maybe he's sleep paralysis or sleepwalker or
exactly.
But because the family is a heavily religious, they would see possession.
Yeah.
And then if they take him to the priests are going to see possession. If you take him to a doctor, the doctor is going to see a medical issue. All right, James, run with it.
Fucking run, what the hell? I'm just I'm not even on the fence. I'm just pure out saying, kid, Roland, he had a medical issue when he was younger, and no one knew how to treat it. And just like you're saying, the family's all religious, the priests, all that saying, "Oh, possession." I'm not seeing anything other than really. All I'm seeing is him behaving in the factor of like harming himself, making all these cuts on his body, sleep paralysis or whatever, all that. I've got nothing more to say. It's just the fact that it's just, back in the day, they just plain and simple didn't know how to treat a illness as like in these cases of Angelis and Roland here. I'm just thinking it's, no, I'm not even on the fence. I can't be. It just, to me, it just all screams mental illness in one form or another.
Well, I mean, originally when we looked at the topic and it was like, hey, it inspired the movie The Exorcist and the book The Exorcist. And then as you read on about it, The Exorcist was like, oh. So, I mean, basically we could take something small and insignificant like... a
mental illness.
For example, let's go with... on our tour, we take the Klondike, we take one of our topics that we discuss, and we just built a whole narrative around this one character that had nothing to do with what really happened. I mean, we could easily do that with Frankie on floor number 2, room 208. We could easily just write a whole story about Frankie and haunting and exorcisms and yada, 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 and then just change all the names and the places. And
right.
Because, I mean, what it sounds like is Flatley just wrote a college paper on this. So he heard about the case, he wrote a college paper on it, saw Rosemary's Baby and said, you know what, I can do a better movie. And then wrote the book, which blew everything up to a bigger proportion. So maybe Mr. Doe, Mr. Roland Doe, maybe he knew that this was not a serious thing, but again, family members and doctors going off of what they know of and what they're doing. And when he gets himself better, he just says, you know what, I want nothing to do with any of this.
Absolutely. Exactly. And it's just, with these cases, Angelis and Roland, these guys writing the books on their quote-unquote possessions or exorcisms and they make these movies to make all the bucks, you're just exploiting something that really could have possibly never even happened.
Very true.
Yeah. I got nothing more.
We still got like 20 minutes to fill unless we just call it early. Tammy, go for it. Fill it.
What you got, Tammy? Your opinion.
The Boy That Cried Wolf. It sounds like he could have been a bully trying to get attention and everything, just like you said. But when the priest did do the exorcism type stuff, I think that Flatley could have just saw that as an opportunity to take a few pieces and turn it into something bigger than it was. And possibly the reason why when Roland became an adult and didn't want anything to do with it is because
he knew better.
That wasn't his story. It's like, hey, absolutely. That wasn't what really happened. Maybe the first part of it was, and bits and pieces, but when you read the whole book and see the whole movie, it had nothing to do with him. And the inspiration was just that. It's like, oh, there's a story about an exorcism. That's what I'll write my book on. And then take a lot of liberties writing it.
I mean, a writer could have good intentions to make a legit, novel, turn it into a movie. Well, some tend to, stray away from that because they want something to really pop and get that wow factor so they can make more money on it.
So is the book in the fiction or nonfiction section?
I don't go to the libraries.
Maybe I'll go check it out tomorrow.
It's in the horror genre. It's what it says is horror.
So not a true story.
It's just based, air quotes around based. Now, the novel was inspired by a 1949 case of supposed demonic possession and exorcism that Blakely heard about while he was a student in the class of 1950. As a result, the novel takes place in Washington, D.C. Go ahead.
The reason he heard about it is his first try of the exorcism was at his college, the hospital that is connected to his college.
Oh,
interesting.
So yeah, I think we're just going to have to call this one, since Roland backed way out of the picture and didn't want anything to do with anything. We're just gonna call that one just kind of it's a spooky case. We'll be honest about that one. You ever seen The Exorcist? It's a spooky movie. It's a good movie for Halloween. It's a good one for October. Exorcist 2 is not a great happy movie. It's got its issues. Exorcist 3 is scarier than hell. I would watch 1 and 3 and then leave it there. Stephen Thomas says maybe he just needed money for bacon.
God damn, I was wondering when the bacon was coming back.
That's going to be running jokes from here on out. Bacon and women in white. Now we need a woman in white with bacon. We need a case that happens.
Well,
Tammy, we got to figure that out. We need a case with a woman in white holding a plate of bacon.
Now, I did think about you guys today when I was at the store and saw a huge slab of bacon. It's like, oh, the guys need this.
We are some sick
I
people.
don't know. Maybe I can bring bacon next week.
Oh, man, I got nothing. I'm wiped out. This is just killing me.
Well, I guess at the closing of the hour, we can bring up things we talked about at the beginning of the hour. Still got 15 minutes to pad out, but for those of us just joining us, our documentary film, The Spirit of Halloween Town, where we got to investigate the Klondike and for 5 hours and had it all to ourselves. That comes out October 24th, Amazon, Apple Plus TV, and YouTube. Our 100th episode we're going to try and do a watch party. We're going to try to set that up, and we're going to do a watch party with commentary.
Oh, so, this ought to be fun.
That's
going to be exciting.
That's going to give me some time to work that up. Yeah. I believe we have 3 more episodes for season 4 and then 20 for season 5. Season 5 starts in November. I believe we will hit episode 20. I believe that is sometime in February. So that gives me till February to figure out how to get that to work. We will do a live watch party.
That'll be cool.
We will all join in and watch the Spirit of Halloween Town, and then when it gets to our parts, we can talk about that and discuss about, God, they got us on a bad angle and how much life has changed since 2022.
Right.
Well, if we got nothing else, Tammy, go for it. Give us a few minutes and close it out.
You got nothing.
A few minutes of what?
I don't know anything.
I've had a lot of fun writing these, but I haven't made them long enough, so I need to work on that. But I have not read any of these books or watched any of these movies.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting trying to put everything together, but I love it. But I'm very excited for the movie to come out because I saw the trailer that Darren sent me last year.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited that I get to go on the ghost tour next weekend. And I'm bringing friends.
Well, hopefully the Klondike will be active again and be showing up some spirits.
Yeah, it was kind of lull.
Well, I had a great time last year, so I'm really excited.
Well, we actually get to start in a haunted old brothel this year, so it's kind of been a bit of a
change.
Been a change of things. We wanted to do like an actual EVP spirit box session beforehand, but there's other customers. It's really loud in there, and it just wasn't working out. So it's basically you get there at 8, you sit around, we talk, we hang out for an hour, and then we get kicked out of the place at 9 o'clock, and away we go.
Yeah.
So,
well, at least I'll get to visit with you guys more than just on here.
Yeah, you'll have a whole hour of us. We might be just sitting on the table, we might be sitting at the table just doing the.
Yeah. I'll be
That's how the week is.
I'll be doing the usual, hey, how many we got tonight? Yeah.
Are they serving bacon?
Hot dogs and I don't know what else. They might have a BLT.
Well, I know they have a different menu. They're just running with the Halloween menu right now, I think.
Yeah. It's good food.
We got garlic fries, huh?
Well, I'm excited.
It should be fun.
We've had a good time so far. We've had a couple good
we always have a good time. Our timing is off a little bit here and there. I'm missing some stuff here and there.
Oh, I'm missing a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to get that nailed down, trying to help you out this year. Like I said before, you know it all. I'm just trying to plug and play as I'm going on some of it.
Yeah, and then hopefully after we're done with all the walks, we can line up some businesses and get back to doing some cases.
Well, yeah.
Especially since we're going to lose you in December, so.
Yep. Oh, well.
Unless it rains, and then you'll be inside.
If it rains, I'll be here. If it's not, I'm stuck outside.
All right, well, I'm going to start. Let's go ahead and just sign off. We're dredging up, and we're trying to get through it, and I think it's been a weekend, so everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I don't remember what next week is, but we'll be live again at 8 p.m. What's that?
The Enfield Poltergeist.
Yes, the Enfield Poltergeist. We got 2 Poltergeist shows and then 1 more exorcism. Julie, sorry I missed you. It's all right. You can always go back and watch this after the fact. Well, we promise we'll have a better show next week. We start out a little high, and then we kind of get a little low, and then the energy kind of just putters out, and then we come back with some, big for the end. So, Tammy, go ahead and get ready for your exit, and then James, when she's done, go ahead and hit it.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on. I had a great time writing the story, and I'll get to work on the Enfield Poltergeist story next. Thanks for having me.
Great. Glad you're able to join us. And as always, keep your cryptids close and tight. Hug them all night. Until next week. Good to see ya.
Bye, everybody.